Hey everyone, and welcome back to, whatever this is. Last time I rated all of the housing zones in Final Fantasy XIV out of 10, and today I thought it would be fun to rate all of the endgame hubs out of 10. That's the places where you're spending your tomestones and you're spending a lot of time waiting in queues. There are little endgame hubs that we know so well and love so well. And you might hear, ooh, endgame hubs. That feels like it's ripe for some sort of endgame strategy. Is this going to be a helpful video for like optimizing the best sort of path to having my best in slot gear? Is this going to help me spend my tomestones in the most optimal way? Is it going to help me at all? So I'll be honest with you, I kind of like all of the endgame hubs. So this is going to be kind of a not the widest spread of numbers for our rating, but that's probably good. We're doing Mor Dhona first, and I like Mor Dhona for a lot of reasons. First thing off the top of my head is that it just kind of feels like the good guy town. You know what I mean? Like, this is where the good guys live. It feels very classic Final Fantasy. You know, it's kind of castles and knights and stuff. And then if you look off in the distance, you can see the Crystal Tower, which we love that. We can just give a little salute to the Crystal Tower. Makes us think about Shadowlands. It's not what that expansion is called. Shadowbringers. Much better expansion. We love to think about it. We love looking at it. We love to think about it. If there's one thing you gotta know about me, it's that I love nooks and crannies. And Mor Dhona has plenty of nooks, and you better believe it's got crannies abound. Nooks and crannies all around. There's so many little spots. I feel like a lot of these were added when they added flying, and I feel like it was a big glow up. I love standing up here and being AFK on these little bridges up here, kind of look down at the masses. There's almost never anybody here anymore, but you can kind of just chill out up here, and then you can go over to these little tables, and if you know, you know, with regards to these tables, you know what I mean? We're making eye contact, you know. But the big negative about Mor Dhona is just the weather. That is big, because the weather is how you feel in a place, right? It dictates how you feel. And the thing about Mor Dhona is, like, I feel, it's not always, but like 90% of the time, I feel like the weather is just purple, right? Like, I feel like people that live here, they wake up every morning, they get out of bed, they go over to the window, and they open it up, and they go, oh, I wonder how the weather's gonna be like today, right? And they look out, and it's just sort of like, oh, right, it's purple, right? It's gonna be purple again. And this isn't really a problem specifically with Mor Dhona, as it is just with this entire area, but I don't really love this, like, grape jelly texture that's sort of just all throughout the air as you're flying around. It makes me feel like I'm swimming in a dang Uncrustable, right? I'm just flying through Smuckers over here, and I don't like it very much. I feel sticky when I'm flying here. It's just weird. But despite the purple and the jelly and sort of stickiness of it all, I got a lot of love for Mor Dhona. I wasn't here sort of in the heyday. I played A Realm Reborn, but I never got to endgame. But I still like it. I like coming in here and hanging out. It's a good vibe. I like how it's just kind of, it's a hill. Sort of just a hill with some shops on top. And that's fun. I also like how there's just sort of this little useless area. I think it's cool when video games have areas that are just, they have no use whatsoever. It's just, we're here. Also, look at these guys. They're pointing at something. What are they doing? We don't know. We don't know. But I'm going to give Mor Dhona a strong 7 out of 10. I think it's a good starting point. There's room to improve. There's room to whatever the opposite of improve is. Let's move on to the next one. All right. Shit. All right. Next up is Idyllshire, or Idyllshire, if you want to be like that about it. I like Idyllshire a lot. It's great. I did actually play Heavensward Endgame while it was current content, and so I do have a lot of very fond, mostly goblin-based memories attached to this place. Something I forgot to mention about Mor Dhona, but also applies here, is that you can be on a mount, and that's great. It means you can get around faster. It means you can jump around on a mount. And hey, that's fun. It's fun to just be with your friends, and you're all in like a 4-seater mount, and you're all just waiting for the same queue, and you're just kind of doing laps around the vendors. That's fun for me. I think more than any of the other endgame hubs, this is the one that I would actually want to live in, right? It's got like gardens and stuff. It's got a nice view. It's got a good vibe. And I like that they've kind of kept it relevant still. Like, you can kind of still do your Wondrous Tales here, and there's, like, the custom deliveries. Like, there's still reason to come back here. Hasn't been abandoned completely. I really like this treacherous little walkway here that leads to a nice little fountain and just kind of seating area. This is one of my favorite little just like, you know, useless areas that I was talking about before. Like, this doesn't serve any purpose other than to just be world geometry for you to stand on and look at and feel good about paying a subscription fee to be in. And I do feel good about that. It's also cool that this little specific area is called the Snail. That's a detail. Now, I do have a couple of complaints about Idyllshire. It's not perfect. It's really close to perfect, but it's not perfect. A big negative is I don't really like where you actually spend your tombstones. It just kind of feels like you're in a cage, right? Like you're locked in here. There's something kind of dim and just unwelcoming about it. It feels like it's really like unsanctioned. You know what I mean? Like you're doing some shady shit by spending your tombs here. I don't know. I don't like it very much. I like being outside here. I kind of wish it was out in the open air, like Mor Dhona was. And my other equally as valid and equally as large complaint is that sometimes the bagpipes get annoying during the daytime theme. Other than that, I got a lot of love for Idyllshire. I love these gardens so much over here. I know I already mentioned them, but I'm gonna mention them again. Gardens over here, real good. I want to eat one of these oranges. And Idyllshire is honestly like my sort of limbo room. A sort of like, I can't really decide what I'm gonna do next, and so I just go to Idyllshire. I idle in Idyllshire. I think that's the joke. And for that reason, I give Idyllshire an 8 out of 10. I thought it might be my favorite, and it might actually be, so maybe it should be higher. I'll say it's a 9. I take it back, it's a 9. We're moving on. And if you sensed some trepidation in my last rating for Idyllshire, it's because I knew that Rhalgr's Reach was up next. I don't know why. I can't explain it to you, but this is actually my favorite endgame hub. Again, I don't know why. Let's try to figure out why, together. Let's take a walk. First up, right off the bat, you can mount up. Ain't that great? And there's so much room to run around on your mount and feel good about being on a mount. There's so much room. I love how just open. It's kind of in like a little, it's sort of a large nook slash cranny. I was talking about nooks and crannies earlier, and this is sort of just one large nook, and I do like that vibe. It feels like you're tucked away, but in a nice, safe way. It doesn't feel cramped. It's a very good usage of space. It feels like this is a good little hideaway. And we gotta talk about the two big features, which is water and man. And I think those are both great. I love looking at them. I love jumping in the water and swimming around for no particular reason. It's good. This one does have one of the longer walks from the Aetheryte to the actual vendors proper. But for some reason, I don't mind it that much. And it's also indoors, which I didn't love about Idyllshire. But again, for no particular reason, it doesn't really bother me here. I think it's just because, like, you're not really indoors, right? Like, you're under a roof, but you turn around, you can see the sunshine. It's great. You don't feel like you're trapped in a cage. I love this super long, little windy cave passage back here that leads to the Temple of the Fist. It feels like you're in line for the Indiana Jones ride at Disneyland, and I think that's great. I love feeling like I'm in line. I think I just kind of like deserts, too. Is that fucked up? Is that messed up? Am I crazy for that? I like deserts. And I know that Stormblood isn't most people's favorite expansion, and a large part of that is due to the desert half of the expansion. But in terms of, like, you know, the vibes and visuals of the desert zones, I do like them a lot. Sorry, just a small diversion really quick, but there's just a bunch of 10 out of 10s over here that we have to call out. We're just going to do just a little drive-by, 10 out of 10 on these ones. Okay, and good. All right, you know what? I'm sticking to my convictions. I'm going to say it. Rhalgr's Reach, it's a 10. And here's the reasons. Water, man, waterfall, desert, big. Good. All good things. And that's a 10, baby. And up next, we have Eulmore, or as I like to call it, Eulmore. More L for... it's not good. I don't like this one very much. It's a rare L is what it should actually be called. Instead of Eulmore, it's called rare L. I'm going to drop this joke now. It's not working. I don't like Eulmore very much. This is going to be a very strange video where the Shadowbringers portion of the video gets the lowest rating. And there's two reasons for that. Reason one is that it's a fucking clown town. You know what I mean? Clowns live here. I don't love that. In fact, there's actually a very easily missable animation. Most people skip it without even realizing it, but when you teleport here, there's a little animation of your character getting out of a very tiny car. And similar to Mor Dhona, but actually worse than Mor Dhona, I feel like 90% of the time when I come here, if not more, it's got some stinky-ass weather going on. You know what I mean? Like, Mor Dhona's got purple weather, Eulmore's got stinky weather, right? It's just big. It's like the exact color of stink. Like in like a Looney Tunes, when they want to make something look like it smells bad, they color it with this color. And I don't really know why they did that. They knew we were going to be hanging out here for endgame times for hours and hours and hours. Why they make it look like it smells so bad? But maybe worst of all is the fact that Eulmore is in fact contrasted up against one of my favorite zones and cities in the entire game, the Crystarium. I remember getting to the Crystarium in Shadowbringers being like, oh man, on one hand I love this place, on the other hand I know this isn't going to be the endgame area because you never visit the endgame area this early. And never in a million years when I visited Eulmore did I think that this was going to be where I was going to be spending all my tomestones for 2 years. But it was, and I don't miss it. The two positives are that I like that the Aetheryte is wearing clothes, and I like this little fancy bar that I imagine only serves fondue. But man, I gotta say, generally, overall, Eulmore is not it. It's cool that it's got a strip club, but that doesn't help it that much, to be honest with you. Eulmore, you're getting a 4. I'll be honest, you're getting a 4. I don't know how controversial of an opinion that is, but it's mine. Alright, up next we have Radz-at-Han, and this is another one, kind of like Rhalgr's Reach, that I like a lot, and I don't know if I can justify why I like it so much. Because this one is kind of just room, featuring hallway, and as a bonus, another hallway, right? Like, it's geometrically, there's not a lot going on. So, I will say this one is kind of a personality hire, right? It's just got good vibes. I just like being here, and I think it gets a lot of points for the fact that it happened to be the endgame hub during maybe my favorite 8 and 24-man raid tiers. I gotta go here in between playing some of my favorite content in the game, so it does color that quite a bit, I will say. But, stepping aside, you know, personal biases and opinions and everything, if we take a little look up, if we tilt our camera up, there is a big hole in the ceiling with plants. Hey, you gotta love that. And you know what? It's also got probably the best music of any of the endgame hubs up until now, at least. It's funky, it's fresh, it makes me want to do a little dance. Radz-at-Han, you make me hungry. And that's good, actually. I give you a 8 out of 10. Pretty high, and I can't fully justify it, but that's the rating I'm giving it. We're moving on to the last one. So, Solution 9 kind of did a WoW thing. If you don't play WoW, kind of every expansion does a thing where, like, it pretends to be about one thing, but then it's actually about another thing, and that other thing is usually, like, old gods and tentacles and stuff. And I kind of feel like, what is this expansion called? Dawn Trail. I feel like Dawn Trail kind of did that, where it's like, this is a fun, tropical, vacation expansion. And then the endgame hub is, like, in somebody's gaming PC? I'm not really sure that was the direction I was expecting. But I do like it. It's not really a complaint. I do like it. It's certainly a vibe, sort of Tron Legacy vibes, and that's fun to think about. It sort of asks, what if purple, like Mor Dhona, but good purple? And I'm sagely nodding along to that sentiment. And it's fun to listen to the chill lo-fi beats to study and relax to ass soundtrack here. But the big negative of Solution 9 is just that run over to the actual endgame hub. Because the Aetheryte is like way the fuck over here. And the run over to the actual vendors feels like a humiliation every time. I feel as though I'm being pointed at and laughed at every time I port in here and I have to waddle my ass over to the vendors. Why did they do that to me? Why did Yoshi P do this specifically to me personally to point and laugh? And I feel like I always get caught on this fucking geometry around the Aetheryte, right? They got all these cubes. They got all these game cubes taped together that you gotta trip over and deal with before you can even get to the endgame hub, before you can even start your humiliating walk to the endgame hub. I feel like every time I teleport here, I have to like swivel my camera around and be like, where the fuck am I going? Which is, there it is. And then I start walking towards it. It's very spatially confusing. But aside from that, I know I harped on that for a while, but aside from that, I do like Solution 9, actually. I like that it looks sort of like the art that's on sort of the box of a GPU when you buy it. It's sort of like, this is what graphics could look like, maybe. However, I do think that Solution 9 would be improved if they added maybe Jeff Bridges or Garrett Hedlund, perhaps? I don't know, one of those guys. Maybe Olivia Wilde or a motorcycle. Wait, actually, they do have those. Anyways, Solution 9 gets a 7. It's got really good vibes, but it has one of the most humiliating walks you'll ever take in a video game. Oh, wait, you know what I forgot to mention for the last two? Also, big negatives is you can't mount up here. You gotta walk. It makes it even worse. You gotta walk around on your own 2 feet. Like some kind of, I don't know, person that doesn't have places to fucking be. You know what I mean? So, I guess a retroactive negative for Radz-at-Han and current negative for Solution 9. Why do they stop letting us mount up in the endgame areas? Why do they do that to us? What have they taken from us? Dawn Trail 2, whatever the next expansion is going to be called, you better let me mount up in the endgame area, or I'm gonna keep paying my subscription and keep playing you forever until the servers shut down in 20 years. Alright, anyways, that's all of the endgame hubs. Again, I do like all of them. I don't think any of them dip into dislike, even a little bit. Thank you for watching, and if you have anything in FF14 that you'd like me to rate out of 10, let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.